full-time employees. I kept seeing a bunch of people talk about how they were letting go of team members that were on six-figure salaries because they were just replacing them with AI. And in the beginning, when I saw all of this, I didn't buy it. So I was thinking maybe AI can help me with a few of the small things like admin, writing scripts, and so on and so forth. But I decided to find out for myself. So, could I replace just one of my full time employees with AI without the business falling apart? So, I started small and I chose one specific role that was absolutely draining my energy, which was client onboarding. So um, this was taking a lot of my time, and it was very, very repetitive, right? And back when ChatGPT first came along in 2022, I kept finding that when I would input all of the different client onboarding forms and everything, it was reading the data wrong. Like, have you ever had that where you're working with ChatGPT and you input data there and you just find that it can't seem to read the data and it keeps giving you back the wrong information? And then as I was going about doing the client onboarding process, I realized that was because I wasn't formatting the intake forms the right way. So after a while, I actually got it working. And I was amazed that I could take this client onboarding that used to take me personally 4 to 5 hours per client, and I was able to hand it over to a virtual assistant. So then I was just able to show up on the onboarding call, on a group onboarding call with clients, and already have their client onboarding prepared, just like that. And so what used to take someone a full-time role to do now was replaced with AI. And so then I thought, okay, that's pretty interesting because that person was able to move from client onboarding over to sales. I thought, well, most of my time is going towards content creation and I'm spending so much time creating content. Is it feasibly possible for me to replace myself with AI there? So, first of all, what I did is I went into ChatGPT again and I started telling it, write me a post about whatever topic. And it was so bad. Like, I actually posted a couple of them over to LinkedIn and I had people commenting on there just being like, hey, Lauren, this is a little different to what you're usually posting. Maybe you've had a similar experience with some of your AI generated content where your audience that normally reads your content, they're not particularly enthused about the post that you're making. So, basically, I have this folder full of more than 50,000 posts that over the last, 7 or 8 years, I stored into that folder, and they're the posts that have done significantly better than the other posts that we've put out. And whenever I needed to write a new piece of content for a client, I would get into that folder and I would find one of the top performers, and then for our clients, I would rewrite the content using that framework over for the client's basically knowledge, the information that they wanted to put it out there. Because there's a concept called proven frameworks when it comes to social media. And it's that if the post is written a certain way with a certain hook and then a certain second line and then a certain way of framing all the content, if that performs, for this one client over here, for a similar client over there that has a similar niche or even a different niche, it can also work too. And so then what I was able to do is I was able to take those top performing pieces of content, feed them into AI, store that into a custom GPT, so that then whenever I needed a piece of content, I was able to actually just open up ChatGPT or even Claude, because I put it into a Claude project as well. And I was able to say, write me a viral post for Facebook, right, using the viral post framework. Or write me a Instagram carousel that's designed to generate leads, and I give them all different names. So then all my knowledge was stored directly in the custom GPT. So it would pull my knowledge, the stuff that I would always speak about with clients, right, and it would format it, the knowledge, in a specific way that was proven to do well on the social media platforms. And what used to take me hours and hours and hours to create posts for just one platform now took me less than an hour to create all the content for all of the different platforms. I then just pop it onto a Google Doc, and now with the integrations that you have with the likes of Canva, you can, at the click of a button, grab that content that's on the Google Doc and it automatically gets put into carousel slides or tweet style graphics over there on Canva. And of course, you could automate the content posting, but actually, me and all my friends that run social media companies, we have significantly found that automating your posting on social media, whether you like it or not, right? And even if you hate hearing this, it's just the truth. If you automate your posting through a scheduler, you will generate worse results. Okay, so I don't know about you, but I want to get good results, not bad results. So that's the one part that I did not automate. So now what used to take me personally between 10 to 20 hours a week of creating just my content for myself, not including my clients, right? It was now taking me less than an hour a week. And then right there, I was able to basically, work, at least 15 hours a week less, that then I was able to take that and then offload that work then onto an assistant who then just spends about 1 to 2 hours a week actually posting and distributing the content the right way on all the different platforms. And on top of that, we had a copywriter. And in case you don't know, copywriters are the ones that are writing stuff for like funnels and websites and emails and everything. And typically this role can be, on the pricier side, right? And so then once I had all this content automated, the crazy thing is I was just able to get a prompt, okay, literally one prompt that basically says, in a bit more words than this, but it basically says, take this LinkedIn post and turn it into an email. And in the email, push them to book a call so that we can generate more leads for our offers, right? And with that one prompt, the copywriter's role was able to be taken down just to write copy for the funnels. But the crazy thing is, because of the way that we've automated the client onboarding, all of the information is formatted in a way that with that information that we're gathering for the client intake forms, we can immediately just pull that information, put that into a database that then we can then use in order to create all of the copy that needs to go into the funnels. Right? So again, when you just have a data analysis in there, you don't need that anymore because that can also be replaced by AI. So after that, I was like, okay, this is really cool because now I have a bunch of team members that I used to have doing all these different things, now focusing on sales, right? Because I was able to basically put my entire team's effort onto increasing revenue. But then I thought, if the AI can onboard clients, then can it also support in sales? And I used to personally spend, if I was spending all that time creating content, I was probably spending even more time reviewing sales calls, quite frankly. And to be honest, it was just draining my energy. And so what I then did is I actually was able to figure out a way to take the sales call transcripts to then be able to look at the time that my closer or my setter was spending speaking versus the prospect, and also look for when a prospect created an objection, how the closer or the setter could have either spotted the objection or the obstacle ahead of time, and then where they should have used an analogy in order to overcome that so that then the sales call would have continued the way that we wanted it to do. Or, on a setting call, right? Actually analyze whether this call should have been passed through or not, and then rank from a scale of 1 to 10 the quality of the call, and then also 2 things that the setter or the closer can implement moving forward so that they don't make the same mistake again. Because, one of the key things in training sales reps is you don't want to give them too much feedback all in one go, otherwise they don't learn, right? So the main thing is always give 1 or 2 pieces of feedback that they can implement. And then obviously if a sales call is like a less than a 7 out of 10, right? You then know that you need to go into that sales call and actually watch the specific timestamp that the AI prompt tells you to go and look at. So now the role of, a sales coach, a sales manager is basically obsolete. And typically sales coaches, sales managers, right? They can take quite a high override of all the cash collected that comes in through the sales team. So I don't need that anymore, right? That is just absolutely gone. And listen, I used to have 47 employees. Now I just have 4 full-time employees because AI is replacing so many of these different roles. I mean, look, just here the roles that I've talked about so far, that's $32K a month, gone, saved, right? I haven't even talked about the different coaches that we don't need on the team anymore, the different client success managers, right? The operations support, I haven't spoken about that here. But just $32K per month in savings, that's $384,000 a year added to the profit. I mean, that's more profit than a lot of companies make, okay? So when I set out to ask, can AI replace, 1 employee, 5 employees, right? Yes, but it's not the way that people think, right? People think that AI is going to steal jobs, but it's really that AI is replacing inefficiency, because now the A players on the team are running the AI, right? They're using the AI to get better, to get stronger. And so I would strongly suggest sending this video to any of the people on your team to see how they can ask themselves, how can you use AI to become more efficient? Because the thing is automations can absolutely replace their actions, but then they're able to level up and they're able to do more exciting tasks, right? More exciting roles. So personally, when I went into this experiment, I was very skeptical. I mean, I didn't even think that it was going to be feasible, right? Because I'm not a coder. But I've come out of it on the other side, right? Started this in 2022. I'm now convinced that we've been thinking about business growth backwards and scaling backwards, because it's not about necessarily hiring more people, which is what I used to always think we had to do in order to scale. But instead, it's about taking the people that you already have, and instead of hiring more people, empowering the ones on your team that you already have to do higher level work. And from there, you're able to buy back time, reduce stress, and massively increase outputs and profitability. So what's the lesson here, right? Well, the lesson for me, at least, is that throwing more people into solving problems and scaling them, that's not the solution. The solution is smart systems that you then have a really, really small team, a lean team, superhumans, right, running those systems. So then you can have systems run the business, people run those systems, but it's mainly AI focused, okay? So with that being said, if you want to see exactly how I'm connecting all these AIs together, running it like a flywheel, make sure to stay tuned. I'm going to be sharing more about that next. But make sure to watch some of the other videos. I've been posting a lot about this lately because, yeah, I really think that this is the key for scaling in this current time. So anyways, look forward to hearing some feedback from you and